Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. You're watching Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas, and today's show we are going to be talking to someone who came to our show and predicted during the election days about the potential prime ministerial candidate. Those days we were discussing whether it'll be good to have Rahul Gandhi as prime minister. Is there any possibility of Arvind Kejriwal coming to the top, or it is Narendra Modi whom we will see as prime minister? Those were the days when we were yet not clear about the outcome of the election. And during those days, we had good fortune of listening to Myra Godrey. Now she's known by the name Jai Jai Myra. So what is there in this name we'll find out from her. But first of all, welcome to our studio. Namaskar.
Namaskaram.
So let me recollect with some of our viewers that it was your interest or calling for spiritual understanding of life that made you change the course of your life, as well as, and you are making use of numerology also in making people aware about the spiritual aspect of their being. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, in that light, we talked about Narendra Modi, and we'll share some clips from what you said at that time. But how do you feel about him going from his date of birth, which you have in front of you, 17 September 1950, moving forward? Now he's Prime Minister of India. Yeah.
How do I feel about that? I think it's an excellent move for India, honestly. I think he's one of the few people who has both the latent power within inside of himself to truly make a difference and has cultivated that potential outwardly enough to use it effectively. And I'm happy to see that so far he's moving in that direction towards making change.
And I think when you are saying it, we are in the middle of a lot of new things happening in India. Thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, one Clean India campaign is also doing very well. But before we continue our conversation, I want to go back. That is sort of a flashback from that conversation which we had with you. And this is what she said about Prime Ministerial candidate at that time, Narendra Modi. Let's take a look. During the national elections is to be seen. Let's move towards another important player from Indian political scene, Narendra Modi from Bharatiya Janata Party. Not saying much about him to Myra. Based on his date of birth, what do you see?
His date of birth was 17th of September 1950. I see that this person actually has the potential to make a change if he chooses to, that it's not about money or power or politics, but based on his name and also based on his date of birth, he could really be a powerful mover and shaker to go in and make change by disrupting the status quo, getting rid of corruption if he chose to, and pushing forward. His numerology and his name have a lot of Durga energy in it, which again is about either creating obstacles or removing obstacles. So he has the power to do that. Absolutely. And also, individually, he's supposed to relate to himself in a very disciplined, consistent, and powerful way. He is supposed to understand, as per his numerology, that he's a powerful person and he can make a difference. And his destiny is leading him towards a place of clarity. Again, the way the numbers play off of each other, they all act as a platform of growth for the next, which means there's no huge obstacles in his numerology. It just means that the current is going to carry him forth more easily to lead him to a place of clarity, having an innate knack for freedom and expansion and teaching, guiding, leading, those sorts of attributes. He could live a very, very positive and proactive life if he chose to.
Again, quite an interesting assessment by Myra about Narendra Modi, and same question about the potential success in the public life for this gentleman.
I think he has the potential to be quite successful, because this is the way he's supposed to relate to himself, is from a position of power and success. And I think that people are naturally drawn towards individuals that have charisma and feel empowered themselves, because so many people in society now feel disempowered and feel like they can't make a change. I would speculate that he puts forth an energy of confidence and competence, or at least that he wants people to perceive that about him.
Wonderful. So this was the analysis about Arvind Kejriwal, Rahul Gandhi, and Narendra Modi by Myra Godrey. And before we move towards the next section and go towards break, just making this conversation in the form of 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So let us say, and let me just share that at this moment, Aam Aadmi Party is planning to contest from almost 80 seats or so, and so they are coming to be a part of national elections in a big way. And so far, Arvind Kejriwal has maintained that he's not going to contest for member of parliament position. But then again, as people have seen earlier, that if there are many people asking him to do that, then probably he might change his mind, as happened in the case of his becoming chief minister. So assuming that he's there in the race of becoming prime minister, and then again assuming that on 17th January, when Congress is formally going to announce their prime ministerial candidate, and Rahul Gandhi is of course that name which would emerge, and Narendra Modi has already been declared as the prime ministerial candidate by Bharatiya Janata Party. So the question to you, Myra, now, out of these 3 names that you have in front of you, if you are to look at the numerological chart and the position as is related to these 3 individuals, and you are to say that these are the chances that A, B, C, who would you see as the Prime Minister of India if you were to pick that name?
Who would I see or who would I want?
Both.
See, it all depends on if these people have the proper support or not. But Narendra Modi, I would say, has the most potential for positivity and to truly do great things. The other people, it's scary if people have a lack of clarity, because it makes you wonder where their insight is coming from. Why are they leading in the way that they're leading? Is this coming from some sort of inward place of wanting to fulfill a need, or is it coming from a place of really wanting to make change in the world?
Those were the days before election, while we were analyzing, discussing, thinking, and trying in all possible ways to get a sense of clarity about who's going to be the next prime minister. And let me remind ourselves that on ITV Gold, you heard Myra talking about potential bright possibilities. Rather, did you say he'll be the prime minister?
I did not say whether he would be prime minister or not, but I said that if he got elected, he would make the most difference for India.
And of course, he has started living up to that particular, if we call it indication or prediction. So now we move forward. He has visited a couple of countries, that includes America, and you are aware that people were full of 100% attention for his presence, which made news headlines like rock star reception for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What else now you can see from his numerological chart that you have?
He's been positioned very well for success. He's been positioned very well to have a tremendous amount of support. He is also going to have a tremendous amount of enemies, because any person who really cultivates their power, they're either going to be loved or hated. And that's what you see with Modi. People either love him or they hate him. Because he's been in politics for a while and he's learned the game. He can handle it, and he really will be able to make a difference. That was the problem that I saw with the other candidates, is that they had not refined their character, their inner character and disposition to the extent to be able to stand up and do what needs to be done, no matter what obstacles are in people's way. That is where Modi has power. His numerology is a reflection of pure power, and based even on his name, based on the energetic composition that I can feel in him, he has the support of the Divine Mother Durga herself. So as long as he uses his spiritual connection wisely and is always sticking to who he is inside, he will make a tremendous difference. Absolutely.
And this again matches, he observed Navratri religiously, and during his visit to America, we know that he was fasting. And so let's talk a little bit about the divine energy or divine Mother Durga as you understand. What are the special characteristics, or maybe for devotees, how she manifests?
Durga can manifest in any number of different ways. She's considered a complete embodiment of divinity. So she has all three of the main energies which relate to the three gunas of sattva, rajas, and tamas. So she manifests the grace of Saraswati, of Lakshmi, and of Kali. So that is going to have a flair of perfection when it comes out of Saraswati, a fine love of arts, dance, music, things that are cultured and refined. When it manifests as Lakshmi, it's going to come across as confidence, poise, character, power, charisma, and the ability to draw to you that which you need. When it comes across as Kali, that's what gives people the ability to get rid of obstacles and to go up against troubles and make a difference, and to not be really perturbed by what other people are saying and doing. That's what gives you the power to hold your own and just push forward and do what needs to be done. And that is the energy that you need to see in the leader of any country or nation.
And I think we see that in ample measure in Narendra Modi. At the moment, as I said, there is a kind of mass movement in India about cleaning India. And he connected that if you want to bring Lakshmi to your home, you keep it clean. And he said that that applies for the whole nation. So that's a great concept, and it has resonated with people. Now, in your personal practices, you have been a great devotee of Mother Goddess.
Yes.
So, you want to say something more about your own experiences in terms of during your meditation, how she has communicated with you?
Many different ways. Most everything that I teach with my organization comes from a platform in both the Bhagavad Gita and in the Shakti-oriented Sri Vidya tradition. But the techniques that I teach, the things that I've written about in my book, have all come as a direct transmission straight from her. Like, I teach a very unique meditation for inner victory to help people cultivate this exact character that we see with Modi. It helps you to be able to tap into the blueprint of your life. So if you want to think of numerology as a blueprint, we have all of this potential inside of us, but most people never really live up to their full potential. When you do, people are either going to love you or hate you, because it's not a matter of right or wrong, it's a matter of living your swabhava and your swadharma. So everything that I work with people on is to try to help them come to this place of understanding themselves. And I think that's really what the spiritual connection is about, is how do you best know what you came here to do, and how do you best use who you are to make a difference in the world.
No, there are some people who you feel they are stuck in some time zone wherein they observed or experienced some negativity, and they weave their future course of action, keeping that as the reference point.
Yes.
What is the way out?
That would be a karmic cycle. That's what most people experience. They experience their karma, which is always a reflection of past action. Any karma can be dispelled quickly. That's the grace of the Divine Mother, especially in her form of Durga. Durga is the one who either brings obstacles or removes obstacles. So when you follow a sincere practice, and by sincere, I'm not talking about necessarily doing rituals or fasting. Sincerity comes from the heart and what it is that you really feel inside. If you really want to make change in your life, and if you're committed in your thoughts and your words and your actions to making change in life, it will absolutely happen. Grace comes to any sincere person with an open heart who's willing to stand up and have the courage to make a difference.
When you say you're not talking about ritual or fasting, etc., and you're talking about purity of heart, I believe that's what you said. And so many times people feel that now my heart is saying this, now my heart is saying that.
Yeah.
So many times there is a lack of continuity in the message that you get from your heart. So what would be your advice in such situations?
There's definitely a difference between heart and emotion, and that is something that a lot of people maybe haven't learned in themselves to tell the difference in, when their emotions are carrying them in one direction. versus the heart. Or you can think of the heart as also being awareness. So it's both active, dynamic living, or if you view it as more of the anahata, the fourth chakra, it's just pure awareness. It's pure clarity that relates to satya, that relates to sattva guna. So it's a matter of having that clarity of who you are and letting that clarity guide your path. Meditation is one of the best ways to get there. I, of course, do love ritual and do ritual, but it's not for everyone. The most important thing to understand is it doesn't matter how much outer ritual you do, if your heart is not in the right place, if you don't want to really gain that clarity, if you expect that your rituals are going to do everything for you, that in itself is not truth. That is going to take you further away from what you need to be doing. It's that constant inner discernment, the constant asking, why am I here? What am I doing? What is it that I need to do to take me on to the next point of my journey that is going to make an individual's life better and more empowered? Of course, I always recommend, if people are able to, seek the advice, seek the blessings of a guru. That's almost indispensable for the spiritual process if you really, really, really deeply want to know yourself.
So the question is, do you want to know yourself? And it'll be difficult to say, no, I don't want to know myself. You definitely want to know yourself. But the thing is, at what level you want to know yourself, and who you allow to define you also plays an important role, because sometimes you just get by what is told to you, and you continue with certain labels which maybe society or your parents or your peers put on you, and that takes away your ability to connect with your true self. I think she would agree with me on that. Now, moving forward in this direction of knowing oneself, people feel that I have clear-cut path, I have to make money, and probably if I have more money, I'll be happy. So based on your experience in your own life, as well as people who you have worked with or taught or learned, how much significant role money plays in making people happy and content?
Money is this wonderful, wonderful source of energy, external energy that we have that comes from the universe. If you're living your life path and being true to yourself, money makes everything better. If you're not living your true life path, if you're not being true to yourself, money will bring nothing but misery. And it will keep you further deluded and further away from yourself. Anything that we deal with externally in the world, any source of power that comes to you when you don't have clarity, will ultimately further obscure that clarity and lead to misery. If you do have clarity, any form of power that comes to you can be used wisely and used to make a difference, used to bring out more joy and fulfillment. Ultimately, happiness comes from within, so I'm not going to say that these things will make you happy, but they will be like an icing on the cake so that you can fully enjoy your life. You can enjoy the spiritual aspects of your being, and you can enjoy the outer fulfillment of Lakshmi as well. That Lakshmi energy has to start within, has to start with inner prosperity. But if your inner prosperity is real, it has no choice but to manifest in the external world as well into monetary abundance and prosperity, if that's what you seek.
So talking about inner prosperity, and many times we find ourselves in the company of people who makes us more happy than what we were before meeting them. And there are other kinds of people who makes us feel that, oh man, where I got caught in this company. As we have heard, a man is known by the company that he keeps. So how would you work on determining in what way you allow yourself to be influenced by the presence of others? And that is a very important area, because many people feel they cannot get along with others because they have different energy, different perception. So how you get to the sense of harmony with everyone, and how do you develop the kind of filters which would only let positivity flow towards you?
You're never going to have harmony with everyone that you come into contact with, but a way that you can mitigate the negativity of that is to understand that everyone has their unique prakriti, their unique nature that comes as a nature of the physical body. So the way someone is acting has a lot to do with their temperament. It has a lot to do with their numerology, their astrology. If you can recognize that the soul within is not what dictates how a person acts, it's their prakriti structure. then you understand what's going on at all times. You can have clarity as to why you have a disagreement with someone, because the more you know yourself, the more you have the capacity to really see what's going on with someone else. And how can you not have compassion for that if you know that they are really just being them, either for better or for worse? As far as trying to stay in a harmonious place, you resonate most strongly the vibration of the 7 people that you're closest to. So be very careful about picking the company that you have, because you will automatically reflect a portion of their temperament just because they're in close physical or emotional proximity to you. So the best thing you can do to maintain harmony is be very, very careful about the company that you keep.
So be careful, and clarity is important. And with clarity, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, about whom we were talking earlier, about whom Myra Ji predicted in our show that he's going to be the next Prime Minister, and she also talked about how she's going to connect with people and all the positive force that he brings to the table. Interestingly, the organization that she has founded is Gita for the Masses, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he met Japanese head of the state, he gifted a copy of Bhagavad Gita, and when Chinese head of the state was visiting India, Narendra Modi ji gifted him Gita translated into Mandarin, and now at White House he gifted lectures of Mahatma Gandhi on Bhagavad Gita to President Barack Obama here. So what is it that you think is so universal about Bhagavad Gita for the modern mind that you have also taken it upon yourself to create this organization, Gita for the Masses?
The Bhagavad Gita is one of the best scriptures in existence for teaching psychological and emotional growth. So it takes this pure potential that we see reflected in both astrology and numerology and teaches you a step-by-step process to manifest that potential in the world. It doesn't matter who you are inside if you don't have the capacity to draw that out of you and make good use of it. So Gita is a scripture that's a step-by-step path to show you exactly how to do that, exactly where your enemies are along the way, and how to find out where you're at on your path of growth. And this is for anyone of any religion, of any belief system. You can believe just about anything and still use the Bhagavad Gita as a platform for further understanding who you are.
Talking about the language and its role in making you one with the message of the scripture. Mm-hmm. So Bhagavad Gita, of course, original in Sanskrit, and I believe you don't understand Sanskrit, or do you?
I do not. One of our other board members is fluent in Sanskrit, and he has been working with me directly on the translation of the Gita for a course that I'm creating on it to teach people how to further develop their character.
No, so the next question was actually whether you know the language. It is possible to connect with the message of Bhagavad Gita. Is that right, based on your experience?
It's absolutely possible, because the message that comes through any scripture is the message that is coming from God directly. So when you connect with that God energy, everything is revealed directly through that. So you can either use a scripture or a spiritual path as a conduit, or you can connect straight through the essence of the heart itself and then let everything be revealed to you that way.
So just to sum it up, we talked about the possible positive role, or rather the positive role that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is playing and is going to play, some indications from his numerological chart that she shared with us. Bhagavad Gita, and any of our viewers, if they want to connect with this, call it a book or a scripture, and they feel that it is difficult, I don't understand, what would be your advice?
It is very difficult because there's so many different translations and commentaries out there, and each one of them has their own unique energy. So if you're not resonating with the energy in a specific translation, I would recommend picking up another translation. Some of the more common translations out there, I don't resonate with one bit. And if that had been the first copy I had ever picked up, I would have never looked at it again.
Which has been most favorite for you?
Most favorite for me was Iswaran's translation, because it was taking a spiritual heart-centered perspective from love and compassion. Some of The other translations are just so left-brained and analytical that it loses the essence of heart and character.
So let us not lose the essence of the heart and character, and let us continue to work towards that for which we are here, as we were talking earlier. And I think now known by the name Jai Jai Myra, and probably there's a book also which we'll be seeing in near future, which she has written. What is the title of that book?
It's called Vibrational Healing, and it will be published the beginning of February 2015.
So now I can probably say at this moment that author of a book by the name Vibrations of Healing, and that is my prediction for her, would be a book that would heal people and would help them in knowing a little bit more of the correct way of living. I appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much.
Namaskar. Thank you very much, with lots of good wishes. This is Ashok Vyas.